I am so nervous about doing this. But once I get going, I just roll. So, I am here tonight to update everybody on what is... Oh, looks like I was not recording. I don't know. I don't know what you missed. Nothing. I'm here to update on the review board's decision with Dallas Ritchie, and what has happened since that decision. And I'm going to touch on victim services because it's a big deal. There's a lot there. And I'm winging it again because when I try to plan these, it's too stressful and I'll never do it. And I do it live so that I have no choice but to post whatever I get so that I can't do it again. So that's why I'm here. Okay, so I did my video on a Thursday, I don't know, beginning of February, a couple weeks ago. And that day I had expected to have already heard from the review board on their decision, but I hadn't. So that Monday after I posted, I received an email with their decision. And I mean, like I said, I don't have room for hope. That takes too much energy. But my gut feeling was accurate, and they did indeed issue a full warrant for Mr. Dallas Ritchie. Now keep in mind, he is a patient, not a victim. So this is a full warrant to have him put into, I believe it's called Alberta Hospital, Edmonton. I'm shaking because finally a little bit of relief that they recognized what he did and the fact that they don't know what triggered this man to do what he did, and putting him back on the street, medicated or not. I mean, we don't know what triggered him. Do we know if the meds will do anything for that? And his psychiatrist only met with him. On my video, I had said 3 hours of online, but I have the transcript from the hearing, and they say 4 hours, so I stand corrected. I want to say that reading through the transcript, everything else that I said, I stand by. I was speaking with a lawyer last week, and I referred to how many times in this transcript Miss Dr. Erin Wills is recorded as indiscernible. And this lawyer responded with, oh, I didn't catch any. And I said, well, I could go through and list them for you. And just before I started this video, page 4 is the first one. Page 6 has 2. And I'm just stopping there because honestly, reading this stuff, reading her is, from my perspective, you know, it's COVID, she's working from home, she has her case, and it's only got maybe 30% of her attention. And I can tell you that from, you know, her responses. A gentleman asked her if Mr. Ritchie is seeing a psychiatrist here in Grand Prairie in person or if it's virtual. And she says she doesn't know because she never asked. Well, that's okay, that's fine. But I'm just going to say her attention is not in it, because if she was paying attention, she would say, yes, he is seeing him in person. I know that because Mr. Ritchie is on a medication that is injectable, and it's administered by his psychiatrist so that we know he is taking his meds and not skipping. So, you know, I'm just saying that as one point to say how little, you know, attention and, you know, how much effort she's putting into this. She's not in it. And even this lawyer that I spoke to, he said that the case doesn't match what she's saying. I mean, I am so frustrated and I am so angry. So let's go back to this warrant. I was relieved. This warrant is issued for 6 months before his next review. So in 6 months, we would do basically what we did here in January and sit down, and they would go off of his time in the hospital and decide, you know, is he a risk to society? Should we keep him in for a bit longer, adjust meds, maybe keep him in but give some privileges? Or do we let him go home and, you know, we'll discuss some conditions then. So that was supposed to be in 6 months. I was relieved with that. I don't think 6 months is long enough. I think someone who knows that they're being watched and judged could hide, you know, could put a lot of effort into hiding those true colors for 6 months, you know, knowing that deadline's right there. But I know a year would be a lot more discouraging, and, you know, it might be a little bit harder to hold yourself together through that. But anyways, I'm grateful for the 6 months. But then, we can't, I don't even know what to say. Within a week, on my birthday actually, I received a phone call from a lovely lady who has been very supportive throughout this. And she just said that someone asked her for my information and she just wanted to check with me before she gave it. She said that there was an appeal filed and that she's never seen this before, and so it was unusual. And of course I had no answers. She told me who issued the appeal. She gave me his name, and that was a Wednesday, I believe. I don't even know when my birthday was. Anyways, by Friday I hadn't heard from him, and I just realized that, you know, he probably doesn't know that she gave me a heads up, so maybe he doesn't know that I'm sitting here sweating. And I figured that he's probably waiting for more information before he touches base with me, but I couldn't sweat through the weekend. So I wrote an email and he called me like right now. Like I barely sent it, and, you know, like I don't even think he read it, but he said, well, we can't have people holding their breath. I really appreciate his quick coming at me. And sure enough, he was waiting for more information. Well, as it turns out, Mr. Ritchie's lawyer is appealing the decision because all of the doctors said that he could be released on the minimal requirements with shopping spree privileges. So they're appealing the warrant already. They believe that this hearing will take place on March 9th, next week. And I'm crushed. I am so sick of this emotional roller coaster. I am so sick of catering to him and leaving me to figure it out. If the appeal is approved, he will go home that day. On March 9th, he will be back walking the streets in Grand Prairie. If the appeal is denied, then I am under the impression that the warrant stays as it is, and in 6 months we will review my own opinion, I figured in 6 months they're going to let him out anyway, to be honest. And I don't understand why they would appeal 6 months. I mean, if this were my child, I would be grateful for the help. And I mean, what is 6 months? I mean, if he does this again, what will that result in? And how are you going to feel then? I am so sick of this. So that's my update with with that. You can look forward to an update video again after this appeal. I can guarantee it, because as much as doing these kinds of things online is not me at all, it helped me in ways that I didn't expect. I feel like I cornered myself by belittling the story to everyone that I would meet along the path, and I'm always trying to pretend like I'm okay, and I don't like people to live in fear, so I don't want to tell you this terrible story that you're going to be scared in your own house. But the situation just gets worse and worse for me, and every time I'm asked for an update, because of the belittling all along, people can't grasp the extent of it, and I am at an explosive state. The most ridiculous things, and I lose my mind. I just gotta scream and release it. But I'm working on it. I've hardly eaten in ages, and so that's number one. I am struggling, but I'm doing it, and I will. Anyways, that is not what we're here to talk about today. I would like to do a shout out to Peace Country and Beyond. I should have mentioned them on my first video. I don't want to go through and list all the businesses that did contribute, because I know I'm going to miss, and I don't mean to. I miss so many details of my story because of repetition, and anyways, everybody's contributions made such a difference, and I don't want anyone to feel left out. But I need to mention Peace Country and Beyond, because they went above and beyond. She's a local business here in Grand Prairie, and I recommend you look them up and see what kind of services they provide. They were huge. There's a few, but they all know how grateful I am. I have 2 different lists of notes. One is on my phone, and I tried to put it all on paper, but I was unsuccessful. So this is going to be sporadic, and I'm going to try to be way quicker than last time. My main topic I want to discuss tonight is victim services, along with victims of crime. So a lot of people respond to me, what about victim services? Didn't you reach out to them? No, I didn't reach out to them. They reached out to me. It might have been that night, but I believe it was the next day that they called me, and they kept in touch with me on a regular basis, especially right at the beginning. They would check in on me. They provided me with lots of forms for financial assistance and reimbursements, and all of those forms that were denied for one reason or another. I need to make it clear that victim services is major help and support. it, I don't know who to talk to or where to go or what's going on or how the legal system works. And they're the one to start with. They have, if they don't have the answer, they'll find it for you. They will tell you who you need to speak to. They got me a phone meeting with the Crown prosecutor of the case because I was full of questions and confusion. Victim services is helpful. I will not discuss that phone call. Anyways, but victim services did a lot, and when we went to court in December, she was there, you know. I'm sorry, all of this just is so overwhelming, and I know I'm missing so much, and I'm just not organized, but my first thing I'd like to say is victim services hands are tied, in my opinion. I might be wrong, but to me, they provide services and they have the resources to hook you up with. But the reason I say their hands are tied is because those resources no longer exist. It's these forms are useless. I mean, it was a warning from victim services that I wouldn't be approved because of the change to the conditions or whatever. You know, so they're a brick wall that I bang my head against. You know, I can't get anywhere, and it's not their fault. They want to help, but they don't have the resources to do it. Everybody in the system, all the lawyers or whatever, everyone's all, well, didn't you get counseling out of this? And they sit up all on their high horse when I say, well, yeah, my son and I are in counseling. And I don't mean to belittle that. It's a big deal that they fast-tracked my son in there, and I am so grateful. But even my counselor points out the fact that I was already attending counseling there, and I would have absolutely continued after this. I'm not saying take away that service, but I'm just saying stop patting yourself on the back for the service you provided. I need things like, I need support. I mean, start with the beginning when I was so heavily medicated on painkillers and I'm supposed to drive myself to appointments. I'm driving my son. Are you crazy? Like, why is there no compensation for public transportation if you're not going to provide me with a chauffeur, which obviously I don't expect that extent of service, but I need that. I need childcare. You know, I've got appointments. I have physiotherapy. I've got counseling. I've got doctor's appointments. And I've got to figure out childcare. And I've got to pay for that. And you're not reimbursing me for my lost wages. What the heck? You know? If there is a path of assistance for the aggressor because he needs help, how is there no path of assistance for the victim who needs help so that they don't lose their mind? And I mean, I don't want to come across as crazy. I do feel like I've got a pretty good hold on myself, but everybody's different. How do you know how they're turning out? And it's just getting worse with every step of this legal system. It's more and more belittling of me and devaluing of me, the innocent, law-abiding citizen, to spend our resources on reintegrating this poor man into society. So my suggestions for better victim support, first on here was that it should not be a case open, case closed deal. My point on that is, after December 1st trial, and this was bumped from criminal to patient, I got phone calls from the lead investigator to let me know that she was closing the file, and I got the call from victim services to let me know that she was closing the file. But I need you to understand that even though the system says it's an open and closed case, like now it's no longer going through the courts, but hello, I am still a victim. That case will close when I say it closes. That might be next week, but it's probably not going to be for quite a while, especially if the system keeps coming at me. So she closed my case, but Victim Services has never stopped checking in on me, and I don't know if it's their own personal interest. It must be, because as far as I understand, the case is closed, so, I'm pushed off the desk. But even when she closed it, she did tell me if I ever have any questions or if there's anything she can do, to give her a call. So I think maybe more what that means is, there's nothing ongoing for them. But I have kept her updated with, ever since leaving that, because, well, for a lot of it, most people involved in the legal side don't see the patient side. So, a lot of them don't understand it. So I'm trying to help them know what happens next. So I don't know. That's another thing, now that it's passed from court to hospital, I have no more support. Like, everyone that I knew that was involved is gone. The lead investigator doesn't know anything anymore. Victim Services isn't in the loop, and, they're not the one to call to ask about this. Now I really am alone. And I don't understand the system. And the fact that they keep kicking me to the curb, I really feel like they're just taking advantage of my lack of knowledge for the system, and they're laughing at me for it, and getting upset when I say that they don't care. Well, I can guarantee that every single person that has been involved, every one of you, would have reacted differently if I was your daughter, or if I was your wife, or your sister. You would react differently. You would do more. Other services that victims could benefit from are things of relaxation, and I struggle to say this stuff because it just sounds like I'm trying to take advantage of the system and spoil myself, but that is not it. I need to have help to relax. I can feel the stress. My heart palpitates. I can't eat. I can't focus. There's zero financial assistance. Zero. I got into some other program and they approved me. Well, when it came time to help me out, nope, turns out, nope, she doesn't apply. She doesn't qualify. And there's another freaking emotional, why approve me if I don't qualify. Do not do that. Just deny me from the beginning, because that's what I expect. That's what you've conditioned me since the beginning of the knife jabbing into my head. Another thing that would really help is to help the victims reunite with their immediate family. Oh my goodness. I grazed over the discussion of the effect of this on my family. Ugh, I don't even know how far to get into that right now. I'm just gonna say that, my family is in New Brunswick, and if we could just hug each other and see that we're okay. But instead, I'm wrapping my head around the fact that I probably will never see them again, because I can't even get myself going again. I am in the midst of trying to get a different business running, and once that finally happens, I don't make a lot of money, and I'm okay with that. I just like to make ends meet and be happy with my son. I'm not out there to get rich. But, I got a lot of debt to catch up on. And it's just piling up. These politicians just seem like they just look down on me from their high horse, and they're invincible. They find the loopholes for their benefit and cash in the nice paycheck, and just wait till it's your daughter. I'm so distraught. I'm sorry. I had to get this done. I can only do this when my son's not with me, and I've covered pretty much everything. My list is just scattered. I had someone tell me, I sent my video to all the politicians, and Jason Kenney's office phoned me, because that's the surface where us bottom feeders can reach, and then they filter out what reaches the top, So I'm not valid to speak to someone who can actually change something, and speaking to him, he definitely sat on his high horse for the counseling. But yeah, he's like, oh, well, it's your right to advocate for change. I interrupted and said, I'm sorry, sir, but I am not advocating. I am the change, and this is not the last time you will hear from me. I have no idea what I'm getting myself into. I don't know the legal system. I can't be more clear on that. But I realized within the last couple days that originally I was pissed off with the legal system for, the NCR and not even recognizing me, and, what was it he said? Oh, victims have no standing. This is the new phrase I'm stuck on. Victims have no standing. Like, what? See, I get so sidetracked, and then I lose my train of thought. I don't know what I'm getting into, but I'm gonna fight. So, as I realized in the last couple days, I need to first advocate for the victims, We need more services for victims. This is unbelievable. I mean, it's a recipe for disaster for those of us who work hard and, want to better ourselves and are a part of society. They're setting us up to dissolve. I am not going to let that happen. I am definitely I am in the worst. I don't want to say that. I'm just in a tough spot, but I'm very angry. I mean, everything's very fresh. Everything's still happening, and I'm now waiting to find out if the appeal is approved or not, and it's just more and more insults. I need your help. I want to invite anyone who is a victim, be it 20 years ago or 20 days ago or 20 hours ago, 20 seconds ago. If you are a victim of any kind, I don't care what your story is. I mean, maybe you were just walking in the street, someone snatched your purse. I get so many people who chat with me and, they start to shed light on their experience, but they diminish themselves because of my story. And don't do that, please. Your story is valid. And I want to hear from you. I want to hear your story. I would love to hear your experiences. I would love to hear if you've tried to do anything, if you have any suggestions, and maybe just so you're not alone and I'm not alone. I am going to change or help change. I'm not saying I'm not gonna do it by myself, but I need your help. And I know I have victim services in my corner. I want to help them any way I can. I plan to write them a letter to try to get them more funding so we can do better for servicing victims. I just, like, a story like mine, I'm not, but I'm just, after being treated the way I have, I'm nervous to say this because I don't want you to worry about me. I am not suicidal, but I'm just saying a story like mine, I just can see it leading that way. If I didn't have my son, to me, the system has proven over and over that they would have preferred that he finished me off so that I'm not this ringing bell and reminding them how unjust this is. And I'm going to keep squawking and I'm going to keep spreading this, and it will reach the right people. And I want you, please reach out to me. Please write me a personal message on Facebook. I will be sharing this to YouTube. I will comment my email address and you can email me if you like. But let's get in touch. This is wrong. Your struggle is valid, no matter what your story is. And please don't compare yourself to me or anybody. I adore how unique we all are, and I just wish that more people would recognize and admire it as well. But I feel like all too often we're shoved in a box of some kind, and any box you try to shove me into, I ain't getting in. It don't fit me. I am me and no one else is, and I don't fit in a box. And, well, I'm sidetracking from that and going back to this Crown prosecutor, but he likes to stay in his comfortable box, and that's where he knows what he can do, and he can't reach outside of his box. And my experience is everybody up there getting those big paychecks, that's how they feel. They're quite content in their well-paid box, and no one wants to cause any waves because that might disturb that honey drip. That's my camera cover. That is actually all I wanted to really talk about. I really thought that I would go at least an hour. I can't believe it's just that. Let's see if, yeah, okay, nothing. Cool. I missed a lot in my first video, a lot of details about what, I shouldn't say a lot, but details about what happened, like the worst details. I think that's out of habit of telling the story and just protecting other people, and I know I said I wasn't going to censor it, but it was a lot to cover, and it, yeah. I'm gonna leave it at that, but I will be doing more videos, and we'll touch base on different things because this is definitely helping with my healing, and I really appreciate the feedback, and I'm hoping that, you know, to have some victims reach out to me. Please reach out to me. I don't care if you're not in Alberta. I want to hear from you. I feel like I have so much more to say, but I'll just cut you off. Okay? Thanks, guys. Thank you for everything. You have a great night. Bye.